Well, thank you very much for joining this session again. Today we are going to talk about working with a Python list. So initially we talk about list, which we made mention that a list is another kind of data structure in Python that consists of a sequence of characters separated by commas, which are enclosed in a square bracket. And we learn how to access the individual element in the list and how to work with each individual element in the list. So today we are going to delve into another process or a technique called looping. So without wasting too much time, this in this session you will learn how to develop a loop through the entire list using a few lines of codes. So what is looping? So basically, looping allows you to take the same action or set of actions with every item in the list. What I want to uh, say here is that in a simple language is that assuming you want to maybe perform a certain action with each individual element in a list, instead of taking element one after another, you can leverage the use of this technical looping. So with few line of code, you can use all the elements within a very short period of time. So basically, looping, we have two types of looping. We have what you call for loop and while loop. So today we are going to concentrate more on this for loop. Okay, so a for loop is a kind of a control structure in programming that lets you repeat a block of code for a specific number of times or iteration over a sequence of items. So what this statement is telling you is that, for example, maybe you want to perform uh, maybe some kind of operation. So you can leverage this of this for loop. The base for loop is a kind of a statement that allow you to repeat a certain action over certain numbers or certain iteration. For example, let me give you an example so that maybe you can understand what I'm saying. Okay, so let me create a file. Okay, let me leverage this. For example, okay, so let's assume I have maybe names here. I have,
Nataka take nataka take connect.
so so Ali, you are making noise, please.
Woman. Yeah?
Please let me. So let's assume I have a names. For example, maybe I have Ali. For example, after Ali, I have another name. Maybe I have this kind of names here. Okay. Okay, sorry. Ali, maybe I have Muhammad. Okay. So let's assume I have this ones. Okay. So let's assume I have this kind of names here. So what I want to do is instead of me to maybe, okay, let me do something so I will appreciate what looping is. Let's assume I want to print all these elements, but I want element to be printed one after another in a capital case or in uppercase. So let me do it here. So I have print. Okay, so how can I access the first element? So I'm going to write the name of the list, which is names here. And then the first element is at index 0. So I have 0. So I can write here the title. So sorry, so let me print it in uppercase. So I have offer here. This here. Okay. So what of if I want to print another element? Okay. What if I want to print the next element as well? So what if I want to print the last element? So let me print it as well. Yeah. Okay. So let me run this. So you see, so I have Ali, Muhammad, Sarah. But let's assume I have maybe 1,000 names in a list. So I think it would be very, very tedious for me to do this one. So, but with the names, what the use of afford, I can do it more efficiently and in a simple way. So let me do it here. Let's assume, let me declare the names as well. Names, yeah, let me names I have here. Let's assume I have Ali, the same with this one, Ali. Okay. After Ali, I have Muhammad. Okay. After Muhammad, I have another one which is Sarah Albina. Yeah. Okay. Those are okay. So with for loop, how can I declare a for loop? So for loop, you don't need to indent any for loop. Just as you first enter your cursor as it's blinking here, then you write four. Four means the starting of the for loop. So four, since this is a name, so you know names is a plural because it contains number of names here. So as a singular is name, so you can have name. Sorry, I can have name here. Name in names. So the first one has to be singular, while the next one has to be plural. Then you have to write this column, then enter. As you have this column and you press enter, you see there's there will be a white space here. This white space is you can have it using a tab key, or maybe you will have or you press please who is that making noise, please let me check. Okay, yeah. So let's say I can have print the names. What I'm saying is that once you have this column, so you need to have a space here. This space is what you call indentation. Whenever you are declaring uh, a for loop statement, you need to have this space. This space is telling the computer that this program should be run to this number of this element. So before it comes back to, because you know a Python compiler normally or interprets code line by line. So this indentation is telling the computer that please don't run anything unless you exhausted this number of items in the list. So you can write this like this, so you can have, and so you see I have Ali Muhammad Sarah. So instead of me to come and do this, so let me have something like, let me add something here. Let's assume I want to print something after this name. Okay, so I can have this here, print. Yeah, but let's assume I have this one. I want to print this one. Thank you all for being part of this course. But I want this line to be printed after all these names I've printed. So let me run here. So you will see, thank you all for being part of this course. So this is telling you the computer that this code cannot be run unless all the number of items in the list are exhausted. So this is what I want you to be very clear of. Please, whenever you are declaring a for loop statement, make sure you have this column at the end. And when you press enter, you have this indentation automatically. But if you maybe at some point maybe you make some accidentally, maybe you remove the indentation. So please, you can use leverage the use of either tab key like this one, or you can use this double, you can the space this long key. You can press it 4 times. One, two, three. Yeah, like this. Okay, so this is how you do it, and you run it like this. Yeah, it will be work. So for example, another example like this one. These are the fruits: apple, banana, cherry, dates, elderberry. So I want to print these names of these fruits. So you have this. Then also I want to print them in uppercase. So I can use this one like dot offer. Let's assume I want to print it in upper. So I have this like this. I can run it like this. So you change now to upper. There will be a situation whereby, for example, you can have a situation that let me make it clear here. Okay. let me calculate names again. Some names are two. That means first name or second name. So let me give it example like maybe Ali Muhammad like this. Okay. So these names. So ideally in programming, we don't want this kind of space in between this. So you want this name to be treated as one. So how do you handle this place? And so since all this has this kind of problem, so you can correct this one using follow since the correction are the same. So what I want to do is the same problem. So you can leverage this of follow to address the issue. So now what you are going to do is just either say implement the for, then you have name in singular in plural. The plural should be the name of the list names, right? So let's assume instead of me to print the name, I can replace I can replace it. Let's say for example, I can replace like this. I can replace this. What I'm going to replace now, okay? Oh, I don't know. This is giving me a headache here, but no problem. It's because I have IntelliCode installed, so it's giving me the hint about the what I'm going to do. So once you write this replace, so you open your parentheses. So you have your course here. This double quote or single quote depends on which one you're going to use. Okay, so initially what I'm going to replace is this white space between Ali and Muhammad. So after this double quote, so you have to press your long key. That's a space here. Then you have another double quotes. Then you write this comma. Okay, so that means you are replacing this white space in between Ali and Muhammad or in between these names. That's why here between the two double quotes, I have it like this. And with what I'm going to replace it with, I want to use an underscore. So like this one. So that is my I have to do it like this. And then I can have this. So after this one, what should I want again? Maybe I want the name to be printed as title here. So I can have dot title here, the title. Okay. So maybe after this one, and I want this to be printed as these are my guys. So I have this print. Maybe these are my guys. Okay. So like this. So what I'm saying is that if I mean okay, maybe you will see that one later. Okay. So what we are doing here, doing something after the loop. So okay, I think I have this something like this before, no problem. So what happened once a for loop has finished executing? Usually you want to summarize the block of output or move on to the other work that your program must accomplish. So what this statement is telling me is that you have a for loop, maybe after this for loop, maybe you want to summarize the output of the for loop, or maybe you have some certain work to do. So maybe you want your code to continue executing. So let me give you an example. Initially, I think I have done that one, but yeah, let's say I have numbers like this. I have numbers. I have numbers. I have one. Okay, something like this. Okay, sorry. Okay, I can say maybe I want to print these numbers. So I can say for number in numbers. Sorry, in numbers. Okay, then I use this code. So what I'm trying to do here is that I'm trying to print the square of the please, who is that using Lenovo? It's making noise, please. So I want to print the square of these numbers. So to do that, so you have this one. Since you want print the square of these numbers. Instead of you to come and say, maybe we have print something like this. Maybe print 1, you have this double asterisk, maybe you have this. Come and say print, sorry, print maybe 2, something like this. Yeah, sorry. Maybe print 3. Instead of you to come and do it this way, so maybe if you have multiple numbers, so I think it's better to use this one, around it like this. So you have all the squares. So what I'm trying to do here is that these are the what? These are the numbers. So I can come here. I can come here and do something like, okay, no, 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 this is, I can come here and say, these are the squares of numbers from 1 to 10. What this is telling is that after these numbers are executed, I want this statement to be printed at last. So you see, these are the squares of numbers from 1 to 10. So this is that. But this is what this statement is telling me. This statement is maybe after the follow finish executing, what next? So whenever you have something like this, okay, let me give you an example. Okay, that's why this print is not indented. Let's assume I have indented it like this. Let me give you an example. Let's assume I have indented it like this. Okay, so let me run so that you understand what I'm trying to say. So you see, look at here. 1, these are the squares of numbers from 1 to 10. 4, so that means after each iteration, after this number, pick 1 and square it and print it out like this one square, it give you 1. So it now continue to execute this code and then move to 2, square it, print it out as 4, it print this one. So I think this one is very long because we want print to be printed as we want this statement to be printed as an end. So that's why they need to be indented. So once you don't have something like indented, that means it has to be printed after the loop has finished. So this is what I'm trying to say here. Okay, these are all the statements I have made mention. So now, what are the problems we are having? So you have to be very, very serious about this one. We have different indentation errors. Number one is forgetting to indent. Let's assume these are the fruits. I have mango, orange, grape, kiwi. So I want to print this statement. So okay, let me show you something. Let's assume I have let me say I have something like this. Okay, so let's assume these are my friends. So let me declare a follow. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here, I don't want this to be odd. So maybe I have to disable this IntelliCode so that you understand what I'm saying. Let's assume I want to print. Okay, I think you are not competent with this F statement. This F statement, let me show you. Let me show you something like this here. This is called F statement. Assuming, okay, if you want to print, maybe normally this print it takes either a string or variable. So if you have maybe a string and you want to print it, so you need to have this double quotes. But if the variable is defined, you can print it directly. So this F statement like this, okay, is allow you to combine the characters, the data string, plus the variable without using plus. Okay, let me give you an example. For example, I want to maybe print hello world. I can use here hello world like this. Okay, this has to be printed. But maybe if I want to add something like, okay, let's assume I'm coming, I'm doing something. Okay, let's assume I have something like, hmm, okay, let me say name. Let me say name is Abubakar. Okay, so now, okay, let me write it in code like this. Okay, So maybe I want to print hello Abubakar. So instead of me to write like this, like hello, then comma like this, I say name. This just has to be. Let me show you so that it will execute in your own presence. Yeah. So instead of me to run it like this, hello Abubakar. Okay, Abubakar has to be in title because a title. So hello Abubakar. Instead of me to do it like this, I can use uh, F format and string. So to do that, you have to declare name, year name, maybe Sadis, something like this, Sadis. Okay. So I can use print. Okay. So instead of me to do it this way, like the way I did it like here, I can use here F statement. This F statement will help you to combine both string, even if you have multiple string. Okay. Okay. Let me. Okay. Let's assume I want to add something here. Yeah, let's assume I want to add something here. I want to add maybe hello Abubakar, how are you? I want to add how are you? Yeah. So I think I can do something like here. I can have another thing here, comma. Okay. Then I can have something like, yeah, how are you doing like this? Okay. So I can, so instead of me to have all this long English, okay, so I can do it in a simple term like hello, but make sure you have this double string, hello, okay. Then you need to declare this name in a curly braces, okay. So you have this name, okay, but sorry, this name has to be with quotes because it's a string, okay. So now, so I have to add another. Instead of me to have this, I can have something like, how are you doing? So this is what I'm trying to say. I hope you understand. So this app string can help you to combine, but only Python 3 has these features. So this will help you to combine the string as well as the variable without using plus sign. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. So this is what I'm going to do here. I have something like, okay, okay, yeah, I think I have finished something. Okay, okay, I want to print this Ali. Ali is my friend. Muhammad is my friend. Something like this. So I can use something like I can once I have this F statement, I can declare this hacker. I can have this friend entitled. But no, I don't want just I want it to be printed as is my friend. Yeah, it's my friend. Okay, and I don't want this comma here. Ali is my friend, something like this. I can run it like this. So Ali is my friend, Muhammad is my friend, something like this. Yeah. Okay. This is all. So what I'm trying to say here is that I want to show you the impact of this indentation error. Here I write it very clear. That's why it executed properly. But what if I got maybe an issue? Maybe what if I remove this one? Let me show you something like this. What if I remove this one? Let me copy it. Let me have something like this. Okay, let's add on this. There is indentation, right? So let's assume I remove this indentation here. Let me print it so that you will see. So you see, we got an error. What this error is telling you, you come here, it tell you an indentation error. Pattern is very smart. It always tell you a simple way to correct your program. That's what you call a debugging. So the error in Python program is called bug. So the process of correcting error is what you call debugging. So this is an indentation error. It's telling you the type of error you have and what it also helps you. They say expected an indented block after for loop. You see for loop statement on line 2. It always tell you even the place. So this is the line 2. Sorry, here is a line 2. This is a line 2. So what this is telling me is that here is line 0 here. Here is line 1, here is line 2. So you need to have this place to be what? To be indented. So once you have this, you press tab, and you can run it here, and it will be executed. So this is what I said. So I have this. Let me delete it here because I have multiple things here. Yeah. Okay, so this is let me okay. They say here Python is giving you a hint, you see, about the type of bug you have and the way forward to correct it. So error is what you call bug. BUG is what you call bug. Okay. So this is that's the first error. You forgot to indent. Okay. Okay. The next one is forgetting to indent additional maybe lines. Okay. Sometimes a loop will run without any error. Okay, it will run, but maybe the result is not what you are expected. You see, maybe you're expecting something and you may get something different. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, let's assume here I have a fruit, mango, orange, grapes. Maybe. So I want to print this. Okay, so I want this to be printed. Maybe after this mango, maybe I want to print. I like to eat mango. Okay, after the orange, I want to print. I like to eat orange. And also after I wrote grapes, I want to print I like to eat grape. Okay, so that means if I run this, yeah, as in this is the outcome. You see, this is the outcome. So this is exactly what I want. So what if I move this one? So let me make it very clear so that you understand what I'm saying. Okay, what Python normally did is that it add for fruits, it takes this the first element in the list. Okay, it now print it in title case, and it now put this element here in this position. So that means if this is mango, it print mango, then it now print I like to eat mango. Then it's now that's the end of the loop. Then it now move to the next element in the list, that is orange. So this is how the process continues. It's an iterative procedure. Okay, so what if maybe you remove this indentation from here? Okay, so that means what you are telling the Python to do is, please Python, print this element, Mongo, in what entitled case. After this one, that's the end of the follow. Then it's now moved to orange. It printed this way, and now move to the next one, which is gray. Print it this way, and it's now moved to this one, print it this way, and after that one, then it prints this one at the last. That's I like to eat. But at that position, the current element that is holding in a Python within that list is the last element, which is kiwi. So it's now printed it as the last. That means only the kiwi will have this statement. I like to eat kiwi. Let me run so that you understand. Okay. So you see, this is what the statement. So instead of to have this mango at this, so you got this kind of a situation. And I think we don't have any error, but this is not what we are expecting. So this is another type of error, and that means you need to understand this one as well. Okay, so let me move it like this and let me run it like this. Okay, so and there'll be a situation whereby maybe you indent but unnecessarily. There will be a situation where you don't need to indent but you indent it. So this also gives an error. Whenever you don't need to indent and you indent, there must be an error. Let me give you an example. Let's assume I have name cost Abubakar. Okay, Abubakar like this. Yeah, Abubakar. Okay. Okay, so now I want to print the name. Print. Okay. Print name. What's name? Name. One is like this. So I have Abubakar, right? So what if I decided to indent this print here? Let me indent it like this. So you see, a pattern is giving me a hint that this would be an error. That's why this one is highlighted. So let me run. See, tell you an indentation error. This is unexpected indent. So you don't need to indent here, but I indent it. So that's why I got this error. So Python is only helping you to debug your program. It gives you an error message, and with hint. You saw this one, it gives you the type of error, which is what? Indentation error, and we need to remove this indentation. So to do that one, you just come here, run the program. It works. Like this one, this is a message. Hello, ML for stable engine.
Sai ka dawo da shi asalin daidai inda yake.
Okay, so because what you are doing is very, very simple, and I think we are almost done. But before then, please, I want you to give me 10 minutes. Maybe after this, I want to show you an effective, because people always complain that what you are doing are so much. No, it's not so much. I can help you with a simple way to do this one. What I want you to understand is I don't want you to cram any syntax. We are in a modern era where programming is very, very simple, because we can leverage the use of AI to do our stuffs, but you just need to understand the concept and how things are going. I will show you the effective way to handle this task. So, but I want you to give me 10 minutes after this class, because I don't want to move to another direction, because we are recording something and I don't want to. So, okay, so let me. Okay, yeah, I don't need to correct this one because okay. So, okay, the next one is indenting unnecessary after the loop. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, but let me explain this. There'll be a situation whereby you don't need to indent, but you indent something after the loop. Let me show you something. Just like the arrow app, and I think I explained this one, but let me give an example. Like names. Okay, let me call it friends. Maybe sorry. Okay, friends. Yeah. Okay. Let me declare the for loop. Okay. So maybe let me print only friend. Um, then the title. Okay. So I want this one to be printed. After this one, so the next thing I want to print, okay, let me print. I want after this, okay, well, let me explain what this code will do. So I want this code to print all these names, Ali, Muhammad, Sarah, one after another. So after this one, I want to, I want something like this statement to be printed at the end. These are my friends, okay? So let me do it like this. So you see, Ali, Muhammad, Sarah, Lina, these are my friends, okay? So what if maybe I indent this place? You know, this is the end of the for loop here. But now I decided to what? To introduce an unindented code here, like this one. This is not to be indented, but I decided to indent it like this. So, so you see, this is the kind of problem I'm going to experience. Here, I have Ali. These are my friends. Muhammad, these are my friends. So because it's now inside the for loop. So what I want you to understand is that once a code are not on the same level, so that means, for example, once this for loop is declared, so only this code that are within this for loop will be executed. Nothing else will be executed unless these are finished. Do you understand? Let's assume I want to print something like, okay, let's assume I want to print maybe I love you all. Okay, so you see, so because this I love you all is not on the same level with this one, so that means after these ones are finished completely, then look at where it's supposed to. So I want this one to be printed here on the same level. So look at how it's supposed to. So this is how it's supposed to work. So we have Ali, Muhammad, Sarah. These are my friends. I love you all. Okay, so this is the kind of error. So this kind of error, it means you indent something that is not supposed to be within the loop, and you indent it. So whenever you indent something, it will now be executed as a block inside this loop. So that's what I want to explain here. Okay, so I think this is the same problem here. Okay, so I think the next, which is I think maybe the last one, which is I think the next, which is I think the last one is forgetting to have a column. You know, whenever we are declaring a for loop statement, we have a column at the end. So it's the most important thing. Without this column, the for loop is not properly declared. Let me show you. I have these fruits. I have fruits. Okay. So I have this one. So I want to print this proof one after another. So I can have four fruits input, right? So look at it here. Here is the column here. Once you declare, okay, let me show you something. Let me delete this place here. Okay. Once you remove this column and you press enter, so you see your cursor will move to the same level. But once we have this column, it will be indented directly. You see, this is what I'm telling you. So let's assume maybe we forgot to put this column, even though we indented the flesh. So once we run this, we'll have an error. You see, this is what you call a syntax error, and it's telling you there will be an expected column here. That's the beauty of Python. Python always helps you to debug your program. So that means I need to have a column here. So once you have the column here, then your program will run. So this is. So I think that's that's the end. And I think I have 4 minutes to respond to your questions, but I will respond to only questions related to what we have done. I have 4 minutes left, so the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, I said regarding this, the last command you just performed. So in every, I said regarding this, not breaking. So, sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, but your voice is breaking.
Not breaking. Hello. Okay. Okay, I was saying about the last command you just performed. Like
Yeah.
if you make a mistake, and when it shows you that you are making an error, must it show you the kind of error you are having?
You guys should
Yeah.
have the indentation.
Yeah. Of course, you know, Python is very smart. It's track your error and it helps you with the ways to debug it. Look at here.
Because I've made
Look
so
at
much
here.
mistake and that is even showing. It was found that you are just telling us it will show the nature of the error made.
Sorry, you're not audible. Your voice is broken. Let me.
Look at me,
Okay.
Ghana.